Hi everyone, and a very warm welcome to today's Jane Live Miracle Medicine. It's an honor and a privilege to be presenting to all of you, and I really just want to share as much as I can and make as many people well naturally, shift people from illness to wellness. And that's significantly different. We can't be walking around ill and symptom free. That's not wellness at all. And those of you in the group who are well know what well feels like. And all we do is constantly try to raise our vibration higher and higher as we increase the life force insofar as the nutrients we are obtaining, either from the sun or from the earth or oxygen or water, nature, and even our beautiful plant-based and in some people's cases animal-based nutrition. So there's no right or wrongs here. It's about you being conscious of your nutrient supply and providing yourself with the highest vibrational life force food that you can. What do I mean by that? And welcome. I see we've got some new people here. We're talking about an atom, a molecule with the electron spinning around the outside of the proton and the neutron in the middle with a very fast spin and very tightly held by the proton and the neutron. That is life force. So for example, flaxseed oil has the highest life force of all the oils because it has the tightest electromagnetic spin. The atoms, the electrons are spinning very close to the proton and neutron and very fast. That is life force. So photons from the sun have got the highest life force. Okay, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But everything does boil down to energy. And well, we're just very gifted, very lucky, very blessed to have the we call it the toolkit and the 365 Healthier by Choice range, where we really are able to stand proud and, ward off the baddies and welcome all the goodies and take ourselves, I should say, to higher states of consciousness. And that's what I feed off. I feed off you raising your consciousness, you detoxifying, you coming back to me and telling me things that I might have told you or you heard elsewhere, but and then I know you own it. Then I know you own the content, the feeling, the knowledge, and it's all free. It's all available to everyone. And remember also humility. We are all in the school classroom. We are all learning, and I learn every single day. I never stop learning. So with that, I want to show you a couple of slides today, and we've been posting some beautiful case studies regarding people miraculously healing, and very quickly. Well, worldwide we know what's going on. We know about numbers increasing, etc. And well, what do we do? What do we do to, on the one hand, prevent the symptoms, but on the other hand, maybe just through lack of awareness, you come into contact with people full of toxins and things, and the toxins are inhaled by you, for example, or through your skin, and then what do? So prevention is the key. And we spoke last week about making sure that the detox organs are clear. And, really, I could actually say this again and again and again. So the skin, the liver, the lungs, the gut, and the kidneys must be clear, including the lymphatic system, by the way. And we need to make sure that they are able to eliminate as many toxins as possible per day, per hour, per breath, if you like, of oxygen. And what we're finding is the people that are getting nailed by toxins, by infections, are the ones who have blocked organs of detoxification. So detoxification is the organs, yes, and it's also the deposits of oil, undigested oil in the blood around the vessels. It's also the deposits of protein in the blood, in the kidneys, and it's also deposition of calcium. In other words, calcification around the joints of the body, in the spine, along the arteries, in the brain, prostate, kidneys, liver stones, etc. So those are the main areas that we detoxify, including we use an all clear, which will remove heavy metals, insecticides, pesticides, EMF, and we also use our EMF radiation pendants, and we use our earthing mats connected to the plug, and we also use zeolite. So zeolite is a wonderful detoxifier, including ormus, which detoxifies everything. Gold is the most effective detoxifying element of the whole entire periodic table, especially when it's in a liquid form, which is the end state form in the ormus gold. So that will detoxify and scavenge, and so will the microbiome reset. Those organisms, those beneficial bacteria, fungi, and yeast will shift into the opportunistic pathogens and go and scavenge for you. So there's no excuses. Anyone listening here, all right? We need to have that microbiome reset. We need the beneficial bacteria, fungi, and yeasts to help the immune system to ward off toxins. And we need ormus gold, we need the flaxseed oil, we need the zeolite, we need the all clear, which, by the way, has got iodine and chlorella in it, and we're coming to iodine just now. And then you're all set. And then to watch the toxins and to, I just think spray yourself down. Right now, we need to be going out with gloves on. We need to be wearing hats. We need to be, I always put my hair right at the back so that nothing's going to stick on me. I've got my cap on. I do have my gloves on. And I have a coat that I only wear out that doesn't come in the house. So I'm doing that right now because I'm seeing and hearing about an avalanche of people that are in close proximity to people who have maybe had injections and are carriers, and so on and so on and so on. And I don't want to say too much because then we won't be able to post this. So it is on the increase, seriously on the increase, to the point that in our center, we will do the quantum assessments and send the products to people who are vaccinated, because there's too much uncertainty at the moment regarding this. And people are definitely signing indemnity forms. Well, they sign them anyway, but we're making that even more it's mandatory. The payment is one thing, but the indemnity form is more important. So and we're reading between the lines. Those of you who've been reading the WhatsApp group, etc. We're seeing what's happening. The good thing is, we have the ammunition, we have the methodologies, we have the products, and most of them are basic, simple, been around forever. Nutrients, not forgetting the stress defense shield, because that's got not only nutrient building blocks, the medicinal mushrooms, the algae, the chlorellas, blue-green algae, spirulina, etc., the adaptogenic herbs, which help us. I'm seeing a tremendous amount of neurological disease, emotional distress. Many people are really feeling the soul pushing them into new kinds of vocation. Vocation is different to a job or an occupation. Remember, a vocation is incorporating what you like doing with earning your money, but living your purpose. Okay, so getting that flow right. And I'm seeing the souls of people steering them in different directions. People being really uncomfortable with where they are. We are going to see more and more of the corporate decline, and more of the newer vocations coming through, and more people more centered and soul satisfied, which will translate to spiritual satisfaction too. But we can't do this if we can't think clearly. All right, we're not going to be able to live productively. So to reiterate, we want to think clearly and live productively. Let's get rid of those toxins so that we can read something properly when we read it. Read into the words. Work out whether it's distraction, distortion, or whether it's the truth. Go and research ourselves. Go inside and feel and understand, and get your answers here. And each one of us is different. But one thing's for certain, we've got to live our purpose right now more than anything. And humanity needs to shift, all of us, every single one of us. We have to make quantum leaps insofar as compassion, empathy, kindness, understanding are concerned. And we're going to be met with challenges every single day. Pushed to our limits. Our boundaries are going to need to be very firm, because if this is not in line with our purpose, then, you've got to ask yourself those questions. And we've spoken before on our turning points, and I'm hoping to have a turning point next week. And Dipta Ben was going to join me. And we've talked before about that list of discarding the negative things, the old things, the things that are not serving you, the things that are draining your life force. And we've talked about the new list of things that we are taking through and forward into our new space. And we're already basically halfway through the year. So many of us did this. I remember in Dipta Ben's New Year presentation, many of us, set aside what was not working for us, not feeding us, not part of our purpose, and took on new ways. So I suppose it's going to be a good check-in for the next half of the year. The most important thing right now is to remain centered. Be present. It's not behind us what's done already, and it's not there because we don't have crystal balls. It's here. Okay, live each day as it comes. Living your purpose. Doing what's necessary. Okay, and remembering that we are all powerful. Okay. So whatever we see, read, we take note, but we're witnessing it all. Right? Non-judgmental awareness. Seeing, but not becoming emotionally and in it and in the turmoil. Objective. Okay. So with that, I hope that you're all hearing me, but other people would be commenting if you weren't. So let's just talk about the one live case study that I did want to mention. And the lady called me, and she's been taking my products on and off. She comes and sees me and everything, and she said to me, Jane, I'm feeling really bad. And all those symptoms of those flu-like symptoms. So those flu-like symptoms are the body's own reaction to try to get this severe toxin out. Okay, it's called a Herxheimer reaction. Herxheimer reaction. You get cold, you get shivery, you get feverish, you can get diarrhea, dry mouth, cough, any of the detox organs. You can get breakouts on your skin. So she was having all of this. So I guided her. She got back onto the cell vitality, spoke to her about the iodine, the para-immune methodologies that we're using, flaxseed oil, hydrate yourself, etc., etc. And she was sort of heading for a bit of a downwards, and arrived on my doorstep and said to me, Jane, I'm not going anywhere. I'm coming straight to you. You need to fix me. So I said, okay, first of all, let's just understand something. Pleasure. I am not going to heal you. You are going to heal you. What I can do is I can guide you. We can raise awareness. We can put certain electromagnetic things in to restore you. For example, the quantum, the QUEX, the SKIO, electromagnetically, let's reset you, let's charge your battery, because you can't fix a cell phone that battery's flat. So let's charge you, let's charge your battery, and then we can start working chemically, molecularly, atoms-wise, and then look at your biology, at the presentation of these symptoms. Because if we rush at this, which would traditionally have been a cough suppressant and probably an anti-inflammatory and probably antibiotics, etc., that's not going to help you get over this in a hurry and quickly. Furthermore, we talked, I think, last week about, or I talked on the group, that's right, not all these toxins, okay, I'm using that word very broadly, are bacterial in nature. And for many instances can be GM. And some of them are not any of that. So if you give an antibiotic to someone who's got a host of toxins living in them in a biofilm, what happens is if you give an antibiotic, the bacteria go and hide in the middle of the mass and the funguses present themselves. And the other organisms that are not going to be bothered by the antibiotic. If you then give an antifungal, the antifungals hide, and the bacteria and all the other GMs present themselves. So this is how this happens inside us in this biofilm. So if you're giving the antibiotic, you will find that there will be an overgrowth of the things that are not treatable by an antibiotic, and that's the killer. Those things like mycoplasma, which is another word for TB, which many people are walking around with, unknown to them, this little thing lurking in the lungs, rearing its head every now and then. For example, I see it on the microscope, I don't know, every 2-3 days. The prevalence is high, okay? So where it comes from, we've talked about on the groups. That is what causes people to go downhill in a hospital, and then more on the ventilators, more antibiotics, stronger antibiotics, antifungals, and it goes on. Hemodialysis, blood transfusions, and it goes on and on and on until eventually people on drips and stuff, some make it and some don't, you know. And also the dangers of that ventilator are huge. Plus the air is cold. And we can't absorb cold air. That's why we have noses with little hairs to heat the to heat the air. And my lady on Monday night bit through her tube. She was intubated on a respirator. She bit through her tube. So they had to put another one in and they damaged her. So now they're sucking the blood out with another tube. So we have to, understand the thing is, so that's why we want to follow prevention on every level in any event. And that can also be for heart disease, for blood sugar, for metabolic syndrome. It's not only one, they all go hand in hand together. And remember the breath. It's the first thing we do when we arrive here, and it's the last thing we do when we leave, is the out breath. And it's more and more and more and more and more critical. So if you're starting off with a low ability for the lungs to detoxify, you're already on the back leg. Because if your lungs are full of mucus and particles, particulate matter, which is out there, I watch AccuWeather all the time, and I'm seeing what's happening, and then I hear 6 planes fly over, and I go and have a look, and suddenly we've got poor air quality. What happened? So there's particulate matter, people who live near mines, asbestos toxicity in the lungs, diphtheria toxicity in the lungs from before. So we've got to always, as I say, make sure that those are very, very clear. And there's some fascinating products that do this for us. We've talked about the Cell Vitality a lot, and that is our name, for very, very, very special molecule. We've talked about the Para-Immune Boost. Now, in there you have 7 of the top antibacterials and antifungal herbs put together synergistically to potentiate each other so that when these herbs arrive in the body, there's no shape shifting. There's no bacteria quickly running to the back. They get hammered straight away. And there's specific things in that para-immune that break the biofilm. Biofilm, that is the film, this dirty jelly type film that these organisms live in and try to protect themselves in it. And it's very difficult to break that. So enzymes will generally break that. Atriphylla will break that. And then the herbs in the para-immune boost will break that biofilm. You have to do that to get in because it's very tight. And then the other thing to get right inside would be a Chancropiedra, because these little toxins live in the calcified tissue, in the calcified plaque, if you like, and they have a little shell. So when you're trying to get to them, they go into their shell. So often I use the Chancropiedra at the same time, and you'll find most people have got scale. I call it scale, right? The arteries, the brain, kidneys, liver, prostate, even on the bones, spine. And we decalcify at the same time, and then we release all these organisms too. We'll do a gallbladder flush. That'll release a lot of live liver parasites and toxins. So this is, if we have a look, so let's just, before I do that, let's just talk about those oils. So the most unstable oil of all is animal oil. So in other words, butter. And oils go rancid not only through heat, they go rancid through air and light. Okay, it's all going to shift that oil from its stable state to the trans fat, trans oil state, which is a free radical, which is damaging, all right, to all our cells, our DNA, our heart, our organs, etc. So, you know, oils need to be in an amber bottle, preferably in a box. They can't be put in the fridge because there's an electromagnetic field there that's going to interfere with the raw oil as well. So that needs to be in a dark cupboard. Yeah, so yes, we ship worldwide. I've opened the gateways to all the countries now, and we use DHL, so it's all automated. And we get it all out there. So my flaxseed oil is pressed and bottled in 1 month, not kept for whatever. They basically manage their stock flow. At the end of the year, if you haven't ordered, you have to wait till mid-January because they don't stockpile at all. No heat, no light, no air, into a cardboard box and straight to me. It hasn't been in any shop floor, any warehouse, near any plugs. Comes straight to me. And this is the oil that I see on my clients. When we look in the microscope, I do not see those globules. Olive oil, unfortunately, I do. The vegans that come in that are only consuming olive oil, unfortunately, I see triglycerides and oily globules on the microscope. So possibly due to the processing of the olive oil. If they leave the big barrel open and light and air are coming in, it's going to go rancid. It's very dangerous. I mean, if you eat nuts that have been on a shop display down in the ultraviolet light or the normal light, or been lying somewhere, that oil will be rancid. An avocado pear that's just gone overripe will be a rancid oil. Okay, so rancid oils can't digest. The digestive enzymes are not there to digest. So then it floats in the blood, makes the blood thick and heavy, and that means it's moving slowly, returning back to the heart slowly, pushing up the blood pressure, less oxygen per minute to the vital organs, including the brain. And that's the big problem. So imagine if the lungs are compromised, plus we've got a fatty lipid deposition problem, plus the protein's not digesting properly, plus we're calcifying, plus we're breathing in chemical environmental toxins, you know, and plus then the liver, the kidney, the gut, the skin, and the lungs are compromised, they're not detoxifying properly, it's just a hopeless case, you know. And we know, honestly, those of you with devices as well, you'll back me up. We see this every day. We see it every day. That lady who came to me, right, let's get back to her, okay? Let's get to some of the slides, because, I mean, clearly she had let herself go. She put on an enormous amount of weight when I saw her. She basically had metabolic shutdown. What is metabolic shutdown? Metabolic shutdown is when the cell vitality on our quantum devices is, well, it's below 3. All right. So that means that the charge around the cell membrane is, it should be about minus 95 millivolts. If it's less than 70 or over 120, you have metabolic shutdown. That means that the oxygen in the food, glucose, will not go through the cell membrane. The key, the insulin turns the key. It will not allow it in, and the waste will not be allowed out either. The cell membrane is completely blocked. Usually it's caked with heated fat as well, and we need to have a very clear pathway for osmosis to occur, which you get with the flaxseed oil. It actually cleans the cell membranes for you. So can you imagine every single cell in our body absolutely caked, blocked? No air coming in, very little exercise, four-cornered rooms, flat ceilings, no scalar energy anywhere, no life force anywhere. Well, you're just going to become acidic. You're just going to lose your oxygen, and you're going to become a host, you know, for whatever's going on. So we've got to really, really watch ourselves. So I saw massive amount of weight on, and I could see, you can see metabolic syndrome a mile away. Okay, there's inflammation and things like that. So in any case, so she sat down, and immediately I did put her on the quantum. She said to me, yeah, she said, I've come here to get well. I'm not going anywhere. So I said, okay, fine. This picture was taken with my camera down the microscope eyepiece. All right, so that I could get this, as it's not completely clear, but so that you could see the little spirochetes, you could see the fragments there. There were so many of them just dotted around the blood. So I showed her this. We then used the quantum device. We restored there and then what we could, the electromagnetic fields, the amperage, the voltage, the resistance, the ability to use oxygen, the ability to use water. I hydrated her a lot. We had a warm lemon water freely available to her. So the lady lives on her own. She could never have coped. That's why she drove to me. And when you're on your own as well, you know what? You actually need help. You actually need a place where you can go, and someone just to fetch things for you. Anyway, so we worked then also chemically within the body. We detoxed the body, all the organs, and at the same time she started sipping. Well, we actually, first of all, we did para-immune defense, all right, and she took 8 capsules straight away. That was when she got here. So the iodine is usually a step first, but we were already along the way. So I gave her the full para-immune. 2 hours later, she started consuming the cell vitality. And then anyway, she arrived. I had other appointments booked. So 2 hours later, I came back. We put the blood back on, and I worked a bit more with her. And to my absolute joy, but also amazement. And you can't see so well, all right, because I know, but that stage I forgot to take it down the microscope eyepiece as well. But in here is what was there. And you can see how stuck those cells were, and they'd already started opening. So when you get electromagnetic field coming in, the cells of the body, these are red blood cells, and the rest of the cell body develop in this electron potential around their membrane, the minus 95 millivolts, and they have a zeta potential. They don't touch. Electrons shouldn't be touching. Even this is not 100%, but it's way better than what I was seeing over here. and the dissolving of these, call them networks. It was like a massive network of these this toxin splattered about all over the show. So we cleaned that up, and look, that was really, first of all, my most amazing thing. Plus, when you're working, I just want to see if some slides came through. Plus, when you're watching in real time the oxygen levels starting to lift, and you're watching the body's ability to use water, to absorb the water and use the water properly, then you start seeing really, really amazing things happen. So anyway, that's not exactly there today, so that doesn't matter. But also, if you have a look under the dark field, this is dark field, this one, the before one, it was just not crisp and clear like this. There were organisms moving everywhere. Everywhere. In fact, they'd taken over her body. All right, so that was the first step. And then this lady carried on. She carried on. We had a special methodology for her to get the cell vitality in. And yes, she did vomit. She vomited twice. And I just thought that's the best thing ever, because it means everything's working and these toxins are coming out. And actually vomiting is the easiest way. So we started doing all of that. She laid, she rested, she got the shivers, she got warm and all that kind of thing. We hydrated her. So we put in quite a lot of the cell vitality. We waited for about 2 hours. We started with Paramune again. Woke up in the morning. She slept actually really beautifully. We started with the iodine. I'm going to speak to you about iodine now. And then about 2 hours later, more Paramune boost. And then we started with the cell vitality again. But already her eyes were bright and white, and she was standing up, and the coughing was easing. From the morning when we woke up, she woke up, I noticed that the breathing was already better. And then by that afternoon, she had virtually stopped coughing, and the next morning she had definitely stopped coughing. So it was such a short space of time where we gave the body charge. We charged the body with the quantum device. I could have given her Ormus and all those things as well, but you know what? In the moment, you do what's right there and then. So we charged her. We changed the chemical nature of the body. We brought the charge around the cell membrane to be correct, so that she could start bringing in oxygen. Because with metabolic syndrome, as I said, you're not doing that. She was telling me, by the way, that night as well, I'm hungry. I said, well, just wait, have something to drink. Because I did, the last thing you want to do is feed somebody when they're in this stressed state like this, because they're literally going to vomit it up, or the energy that should be being used to heal you goes towards supposedly digesting food. It was the idea. She knew it was the time to eat. It wasn't that she was actually hungry. So I avoided all of that. And when she woke up in the morning, she said, Jane, I'm so pleased I never ate. So I said to her, look, I did ignore you a bit there. But I said, you can't put food into a body that's trying to heal, that's in that much of a stressed state. So, that's a really beautiful story as far as I'm concerned. And it just shows you, this lady had decided she wasn't going near any hospital. She was coming to me. She was going to get herself well naturally, but she had the power within her to do that. You see, I can't give that to someone. I'll tell you another short story just now. It's very important to understand you heal you. Physician heal thyself. Not everybody can do it. It's never dawned on them that they can do it. So this other story was just a couple of days before, actually more or less exactly the same time. This lady came to see me, and we put her on the reset, the methods for resetting herself based on our analysis, which would have been our normal flaxseed oil, microbiome, Ormus, cell vitality, zeolite, RNA, DNA, whatever she needed. I can't remember exactly. And her husband started taking the same. So for 3 weeks, he also took the same. CEO, very, very stressed, company in curatorship, blah, 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 lots of stress. And he's blaming himself and all this kind of thing. She brings him for a quantum. And then we started him. But he was actually, I saw his lungs, I saw everything. We don't like to diagnose because very much old paradigm. We will look at the whole body and see what's coming out of the quantum device and see what we're feeling about this in a bigger space. So we gave him some things. He came for a sauna. And that was when I said to him, because he was saying to me, is this going to work? And I said to him, you know what? You are going to get whatever it is, whatever choice you take, you are going to get that to work. No one else. Not your wife, not me. Same story. And he kind of looked at me and he got nervous, I could see. Because he was used to taking a tablet, going to a hospital, whatever the case is, for that space to make him well. Anyway, I sat back and waited, and the next thing his wife said to me, oh, he's gone and admitted himself, and they've tested him positive. So I said, yeah, in all likelihood, we're probably all positive right now. This is South Africa, by the way. So they're drilling us a bit at the moment. I said, yes, and? So she said, well, they're just watching him. He ate all his food, but now he's already had 3 weeks, you see, of cell vitality, flax, microbiome, and the whole thing. Plus, we gave him the para-immune, you see, to start taking, and the iodine. So he's already had 3 weeks and a bit of this. Next day, wakes up, he's absolutely well, checks himself out. Took his power back. I saw him today. He's arrived. So he doesn't want to come near me. So he says, no, because I'm positive. So I said, yeah, well, most people are positive. Don't stress about that. Are you getting well? And we spoke. He had his sauna and complete shift in my mindset, completely, and I applauded him for that. And I said to him, you have taken your power, and, compliments to you regarding all of that. That's what we're looking for. The meek and mild that want to run off here and there. Some of you are going to make it and some aren't, and those that make it are going to get another chance somewhere along the line to trust in themselves. But listen, I'm not talking about being stupid here. If there is a massive acute stage, you don't have a quantum device, you don't have a Jane or one of our therapists near you, don't be silly, but take your power with you wherever you go. Know that you and the universe are going to heal you, and that these other things are coming in, as a support. Put it that way. That lady that bit through the respirator, I have her on the device. I can see the state of her lungs. I can see her oxygenation levels. I can see all of that. What is she trying to say to everyone? Get this tube out of my mouth. I don't want it. Shame. And then they put it back in again and damage her. There's not much I can do when, they're actually physically in ICU. We can only work from here and repair. But anyway, so these are stories I just want to share with you because it raises our consciousness, first of all. It's consciousness food. And people need to believe in themselves. We're so, in the fear space, low self-worth, delusional, that we've forgotten how to, live in our power. So with that, let's have a look at what I promised you I would talk about. And here's some iodine. Now, iodine is one of the miracles. There's no question about it, as with the cell vitality, all right, as with those strong herbs in the para-immune, as with zeolite, as with microbiome reset, as with almost. They are just miracles on the planet. Can't be ignored. Now, just have a look at this iodine, which 100 years ago was referred to as the universal medicine by doctors, by physicians. So it's a chemical element, right? Iodine on the periodic table, comes out of the ground, and I'll show you just now the raw state. Was used as a disinfectant, was used as a water sanitizer, suddenly disappeared from the textbooks. You will find it from early before 1940s. You will find it in the folklore medicine books. Okay, those kind of books, you will find iodine. You'll find all about it. Protects the thyroid against radiation poisoning, radiation toxicity. Absolutely critical and vital. So when the thyroid goes down, a lot of it is heavy metals and chemicals, but a load of it is radiation toxicity. The thyroid gets hit the most. It wards off radiation. Everybody should be taking a dose of iodine a day, just for that. It's critical for the functioning of the thyroid. The FDA recommend 150 micrograms daily, all right? And they also dished out Lugol's, thinking that's going to placate us all. I have yet to see anyone on Lugol's having any major effect on iodine. It certainly doesn't show on my device at all. So it's some watered down version it's not going to get there, I'm afraid. That is their dose. Prior to the 1940s, physicians used much higher doses without toxicity, finding benefits in both hyper and hypothyroidism. And the body does fluctuate, by the way. So both of them indicating, again, critical for the overall functioning of the thyroid. Currently, the Japanese, 60 million people, their daily intake of iodine is 13.8 milligrams. These are micrograms, milligrams. And Albert Szent-Györgyi, got a Nobel Prize in Physiology in 1937 for his work on iodine. And those of you who are keen on the research, go and have a look. Really go and have a look. I get extraordinary results with iodine, as I do with the cell vitality, as I do with my Almost Gold. All three of those things will detox the toxins out of you, all three. And, of course, the herbs and the para-immune boost. Okay, so let's have a look then back at our slides. Right, let's have a look at now the next one. Iodine continued. So potassium iodide is normally the form, and it's the salt of iodine. We've seen enormous and quick effects with fibrocystic breast cancer, polyovarian cysts, polycystic ovarian cancer, fibroids. In men, Peyronie's disease, and that's where you get a thickening in the lining along the penis, not often spoken about. What do? They go and focus on all other areas and everything. In fact, we just need to clean this. And I'll tell you how to do that just now when we're off the iodine subject. But iodine will do it, right? And then also fistulas perianal or rectovaginally, where you get little tunnels happening in the tissues. Hemorrhoids, bladder infections, arteriosclerosis. We've just been talking about plaque. We've actually been talking about all these things because cysts build up when there's too much heated oil, most generally, just about every time. So you'll get the fibroid tissue first, and then it'll get a cyst, and then it will go benign and then cancerous. Lungs. Chronic bronchitis, emphysema, COPD-related ailments. Right on the button where we are right now. When you take a dose of iodine, the red blood cells develop a zeta potential, and they start moving on their own. Same as with the cell vitality. Same as with Almost Gold. It's all about the charge. Toe and fingernail funguses. And here we would use a DMSO, which is actually a liquid form of MSM. All right, and that will actually drive the iodine up. Now, just remember one thing, chemistry lecture, that on the periodic table, chlorine and iodine are on the same line. And our cell vitality is a very, 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 very special chlorine molecule. Doesn't behave like normal chlorine, but I'm just saying they're right there. So very interesting. And the two above them are the bromine and the fluorine. So fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Iodine will displace the wrong chlorine, bromine, and fluorine off the receptor site within seconds. Most often seen as sensitivity to iodine, allergy to iodine. It works like that. And it literally displaces these free radicals off the receptor sites. The iodine goes and binds the receptor sites so tightly that nothing can bind again. So you want iodine stores coming in all the time, binding shooting off the toxins, binding the receptor sites, and then those toxins being shooed out by a zeolite, by an ORMS, by microbiome reset, an oxygen-related product, cell oxygen capsules, shooting that highly charged free radical out as quickly as possible. If you don't have iodine with your chlorine or your fluorine or your bromine detox, what do you think happens? They just join the next open receptor site. See, so we're always step ahead at 365 Healthy by Choice. We always know where we're going, and we always have the next thing in place. So if you use chlorella with the iodine will displace the fluorine, the bromine, the wrongly charged chlorine. The chlorella will grab it and take it out. So people will also are seen to be sensitive to chlorella. All right, it can cause severe vomiting, chlorella, because it reacts like that. It starts detoxifying immediately. Okay, so now I'm putting the pieces of the puzzle together. What do you do if someone says to you, you know what, I can't even eat shellfish, I can't eat seafood, I'm totally iodine sensitive? That's fine. You take the bottle of iodine, you open it up, you take the capsule out, you open the capsule, and you sprinkle 2 or 3 grains into the microbiome lemon juice water. And the next day you do a little bit more, 6 grains. And the next day you do 7 grains or whatever, 10 grains, until you've done a quarter of a capsule. Everything's fine. The detox is slow down. Then you'll go to half a capsule, 3/4, and you'll go to a capsule. Okay, we've got to resensitize the body and clean the body out as quickly as possible. So in the all clear product, we've got the iodine, the chlorella, andrographis, and a whole lot of specific herbs for detoxing EMFs, heavy metals, parasites, insecticides, etc. So it works together. So we know what we're doing. We're displacing and we're removing. Schizandra berry will ward off radiation, detoxifies the liver, and it carries the toxin out. And these are so important. This is definitely, a paradigm shift ahead of what's normally happening. So it's all very well to detox and show that scientifically. But let's see the end result when I come and measure you on any one of my devices, even my microscope. Let's see that end result. Are the heavy metals out or not? Yes or no? And we do it naturally, where the wrongly charged things leave and the good healthy cells, the nutrients remain in the body. And that's really the key and the secret. Okay, let's see what's next. And just come with your questions, please, because I also want to use these sessions to answer your questions, even if they're not on topic. I've said to you all, come in now, I'm here, and let's get the questions. Send me your picture, let me see where's the sore, what's happening, and then everybody can hear and everybody can share. And then, then I'm answering to everyone. Right, let's have a look at some more things. So these researchers found that iodine, and we know, is a nutrient for every single cell in the body. Every single cell in the body. It's a nutrient for every single hormonal receptor site in the body. Now, don't tell me you can't have iodine. We have to have it. We have to find a way of getting it in. Otherwise, yes, your thyroid and your hormone system is not going to be normal. obviously in obesity, because it restores the metabolism, the metabolic rate. It also gives a charge around the cell membrane. And here, the detoxifying of heavy metals, which I've talked about, and all the other, the lead, the cadmium, all of those things. So, I really wanted to shed a lot of light on this to bring this home. Now, this is out of the product manual, 365 product manual. And here's just some of the things. Assists with optimal functioning of the thyroid, we've done that. Protects from environmental radiation, we've done that. Blocks the binding of the halogens, the fluorine, the bromine, the chlorine, to the receptor sites. We've got an amino acid chelated one, which aids in the absorption. And then for breast fibrocysts. Now we've got some pictures here. There's the raw form of iodine from the ground. Chemical element, there's the thyroid, and this is an example of extreme enlarged thyroid. The thyroid looks like a little butterfly. It's got a little butterfly shape. One of my ladies had her thyroid removed, and I think we regrew it on the quantum, because everything started normalizing with her, and well, it had a physical frequency, so we must have regrown it, which is fantastic. Here's daily dosage is 1 capsule, but that's would be a 500 milligram capsule, grams wise, and anything up to 2 capsules of the 365 product a day. Start with a few grains. Children half the dose. You have to put in there lactating, pregnant, and infants less than 1 year. You have to put in that. And then I tell you how to start with a few grains. We've got another really nice product, which is also full of iodine and vitamin D and minerals and amino acids and all sorts of things. So this would be a food state form of iodine, okay? And all the other minerals. So that would be our kelp, brown kelp. It's in the existing huge underwater forests, if anyone's ever seen it. Loaded with trace minerals, amino acids, vitamins, and minerals. A wonderful source of vitamin A, B's, C, D. See, that's what I love about it. Natural source of vitamin D, E, minerals, and there are all your minerals. And it cuts the weight fast. So we use it also in our fat go. It's one of the nutrients to start dissolving the unwanted fat. There's the sea forest, and there's some powdered kelp. So let me see what you're asking now. So yes, exactly. Anna's asking about Hashimoto's and thyroid cancer. We have to restore the thyroid. And you've just seen now that iodine is a critical element for the normal functioning of the thyroid. So Hashimoto's will generally develop when you start developing antibodies, autoimmune disease. But how we fix that is our normal reset, restore, rejuvenate. We get the cells speaking to each other, and we detox the person completely. We want all the levels in the green on the Q450, and we want all the toxicity levels close to 100 on the QUEX. You see, and we get there, and quickly. So, Anna, what I'm trying to say to you is we move away from singular reductionist treatment. 9 times out of 10, that whole body is riddled with disease. It's not in homeostasis at all. It's in complete disharmony. So we treat the whole. And when we're resetting the whole, all the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle come together. We start cleaning the hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is responsible for the thyroid and the pancreas and the adrenals and the kidney and the liver and the bone. You see? So we got to start, blood, liver, detox organs. That's why we reset, we restore, and we rejuvenate. And it's no use throwing a stress defense shield with all the nutrients and everything at a cell that's not going to take it in, because you really are wasting your time and money. So we open up all the cell membranes, get everything ready, and then we literally feed the cells. Same as a gut. If it's blocked, Drinking out of a copper mug or stainless steel, I don't think a stainless steel is really charged, but a copper mug would be beautiful, absolutely beautiful. It's going to bring beautiful energy. A pewter mug, absolutely beautiful. In fact, the Vanessa, one of the greatest deficiencies of the trace minerals is copper. It is a huge deficiency, and boron, huge deficiencies. So you'll find copper in the almost gold, all right, in the M state form. Okay, and you'll find it also in all the food state nutrients that we have. So, Booyah, I'm just trying to work out what you're saying. A substitution of oxygen. Ozone in a room. You see, understand ozone. I'll speak to you about ozone in a moment. Janet, well, about detoxing the body, you can speak to some of the people here. We get results in 1 hour, first of all, of the quantum device within 1 day. If we can stop the body coughing in 1 day, we've already started detoxifying. But to get it all to green, all in the hundreds, it is going to depend on the body, the strength of the body, and what else is going on in that person's mind, emotionally, neurologically, spiritually. Because remember that emotional disharmony, neurological disharmony, spiritual disharmony is going to play out in the physical. So again, it depends on all of that. It depends on their willpower. I'm astonished. Some people with severe rheumatoid arthritis turn around in 1 month. There is just really no direct answer for that at all. Just no direct answer for that at all. But it happens. That's the most important thing. Okay, and we have an evidence-based device, medical device, to track our progress and obviously to assist us. So it's really a foolproof new paradigm space that we're in, right? And it's not harmful to the body not 1% harmful. If you take a look at those terrible chelation things that people go through over 1.5 years and they pay a fortune, nobody really checks before, nobody really checks afterwards, and they're left completely depleted. I remember one day when I was learning about these things about, 8 years ago, whatever, there's this other substance called EDTA for detox of heavy metals. Well, it strips the body of every single mineral. And, I remember this one lady and her husband coming back and saying to me, no, we can't do this. And I looked at them and I thought, no, and I can't do this either. How can you take every single mineral out of somebody? Good and bad? No. So what we've done is there is no harm. It is all done naturally, scientifically, using the intelligence of nature and the intelligence of our body. All right. And that's going to play out. And, some people can hit it hard. All right. Some people get such a fright when they see their live blood, when they see their quantum results, that they say, I'm shifting right now. There are things living in me that are not paying rent, all right, that are literally living, excreting, toxifying me 24/7. They have to go. I've seen them. And, that kind of willpower, that kind of epiphany, if you like, that shift, it's palpable, and they go and they do it. And there's no doubt in their mind. There's no debate in their head. They just do it. Overall, men battle the most with detox. Just to say, okay, so that's a bit of comfort for you guys as well. The men will phone me, Jane, I'm dying. Are you sure, Jane? Jane, I'm dying. They'll phone back and I'm dying. So you're not dying. You're detoxifying. Just tomorrow's going to be the most beautiful, bright day ever. And that's exactly what happens. So sometimes the worse the detox that day, the next day is just amazing. The leaves on the trees are brighter. You can really see clearly and think clearly. So just all depends on the person. It depends what you're removing as well, and how much damage is being caused. If you've had Lyme's disease for 14 years, I promise you, Janet, it's going to take you 6 months to clean it all up and to repair the body and restore every cell and all the tissues. There's no quick way. It depends how long you've had it, of course, you see. But we get there, so that's the most amazing thing. The doses, well, Liesel, you know, again, I would start with, depends if they tell you they're sensitive or not. I assume you're talking about iodine. I would start with a capsule and I would measure and I would see what's going on, because each body is going to react a little bit differently. You can then move it up to 2 capsules and measure and see, you know, check with the devices, check what the iodine levels are saying to you. But, you know, we don't really use only one thing here. We use a potentiated effect where we use the iodine, we use the peri-immune herbs, and we use the cell vitality, and we use the ormus to all work in different ways, the microbiome reset. So we're using a fermentation, we'll use a zeolite, which is a paramagnetic, has paramagnetic properties to magnetize out the toxins. We will use the oxygen to pull it out, iodine, as I say, and the herbal. And when you potentiate it like that, it's huge. But you don't have to, but we do, because we can. You know, in fact, any one of those things I've just mentioned is basically gold. Any one of those things on their own will clean it up. But just remember, anything that's working as an oxidant shouldn't be anywhere near antioxidants, you see. So the herbal products, the tea, the coffee, the vitamin C's, all the phytonutrients shouldn't be anywhere near an antioxidant, a free radical scavenger. That's what those are. Okay, we need them. If you've got a cancerous patient, they do not need antioxidants. They need an oxidant. Full force oxygen going in there and pulling the envelopes off all the wrongly charged matter. The electron has got an envelope. It literally sucks it off. It sucks it off, the envelope, and then you've got all the little molecules in subatomic particles. It renders them ineffective. But together in an envelope, they're dangerous. When we pull the envelope off the toxin, you've just got random subatomic particles. It's just too beautiful. And that's what you saw when you look at this picture. Let me just see if I can't. I actually try to email them to myself. Let me just see if they haven't come through yet at all. I really try to send a whole lot through. But they're on the other computer, they're on the microscope computer, so let's not worry about that. But even if we have a look at this picture here, okay, I'm just going back to our picture here. So first of all, the cells are starting to loosen. They're not so sticky, all right? So that means we've cleaned away a lot of toxins. But they're starting to float and they're starting to get this zeta potential that I'm speaking about. It's not completely close at all, but they're starting. You can see this, the flow starting. You can see the cells all standing out against each other and hydrated, because before, when I agitated the slide, she was very dehydrated, and that was part of the cough. Part of the cough is the dehydration. So you got to always bring the person hydrated. But you can see this is a beautiful, it's starting to look beautiful. Let me see if there's anything else coming up. And then there's that one question I'm still going to come to. No, that was the last one there. Okay, let me see what that other question was. So Janet, your question about the scan, yeah, you might as well start now, because you see, as with any toxins, when the barrel is overfull, or when the C-store tips, when there are too many cancerous degenerative cells. You don't want that ever to happen. So people should be emptying out their toxin barrel daily. So the sooner she can start that, and a liver cleanse, the more prepared she will be to detoxify from her scan. Okay, so definitely before and afterwards, a long time afterwards. Okay. So Liesl, just to repeat, oxidants can't be taken with antioxidants, all right? Because they neutralize each other out. So the cell vitality and iodine, you don't want to have them with the antioxidants. You want to have them working on their own. Okay. And then let's see here. Shipping charges over the roof right now, or are there? Yeah, you see, actually, Drew, I think it's a worldwide issue right now in terms of shipping and importation costs and all the rest of it. DHL do have it pretty much under control. So, and we do get very good preferential rates from them too. So I'm pleased to say that, but you know, you can always check and see. And yeah, those things are all becoming concerns for sure. Okay, let's talk about ozone. That's the last thing we're going to talk about. Because you've really got to understand this. The charge of an ozone molecule, an O3, is 2.3 millivolts. The charge of the normal oxygen we breathe is 1.3. The charge of the oxygen that's produced from cell vitality is 0.95. It's minute. It's minute compared to ozone. Now, ozone will attack every single cell in the body. So there's a limit to how much you want to actually expose every single cell to ozone. So if you want to run an ozone machine 24/7 or 12 hours out of the day in your room, that is not acceptable. It is not healthy, and it is not recommended. Okay? Even in my infrared saunas, the ozone runs for 10 minutes. It's an automatic thing. 10 minutes, and then the ionizing frequencies come in. An ionizer would be better. An ionizer is like those salt lamps. Okay, or you can get ionizing fans. You can get them online. That is a far better option. All right? We've got an ozone tub here. I don't remember the last time I used it. I'm not going to use it. I bought it when I was learning. Okay? We use our infrared sauna because we have all the varieties of oxygen that we need. First of all, our normal breathing. We have oxygen capsules, and we have the cell vitality, which creates the oxygen in the body. A very, very lightly charged molecule, which I've just explained, which only goes for the wrongly charged matter. Only. Okay, leaves all the other cells alone. Our breath, that oxygen will leave the normal cells alone. But an ozone will not. The charge is too much. It's too high. So I hope that answers your question. I would not put an ozone machine on in my room. No, not going to do that. Okay, but if you got one and you want to put one in your bath for a little bit, or you want to, I don't know if you clean your veggies, I don't even know before and after, but I don't know if that charge of the molecule, if it actually damages the food or not. I'm not sure, because we're all evolving and we're all learning. I do have an ozone veggie washer. It's in the box. Just don't use it, because why would I? I put 1 drop of each of the cell vitality into a bowl. I wait 20 seconds. I fill with water, and the beans, the peaches, the cauliflower, the lettuce. I'm joking, because the lettuce comes from my garden, but if the veggies and fruit are bought from outside, they go in there, and that's going to penetrate right through the fruit or the vegetable. Okay, good. So that's it. That's our wonderful iodine. And our zeolite, which I spoke about. I'll talk a little bit more about zeolite next time. But it's something that you shouldn't do without. I mean, this tub, it's straight from the volcanoes. It's double activated, which means it's got an octagonal ring. Double activated means it's extra clean, it's extra magnetic. So you actually wouldn't want to overdose on this, which of course I did. Took 2 teaspoons and put myself in bed. Woke up the next morning, I couldn't believe what a beautiful day it was, because this stuff just got to work, detoxifying whatever it could very quickly. So, you know, this lasts you probably about 3-4 months. The 60 capsules of iodine definitely lasts you 2 months. The cell vitality drops lasts you 2 months. So these are inexpensive need to haves. You know, you can clean out all that other stuff in your medicine cabinets. See, and we get onto the right stuff. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and that as Anna's saying, you know, we're connecting the dots, the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle are all coming together, and you know, we're a really formidable team. And you know, as people come in and they buy, you know, products to start helping other people, and we start growing our whole network, more and more people are going to be benefiting from true health. And if anyone knows anything more than what I've spoken about, please let me know. If you know of anything else, I mean, people will text me, Jane, have you heard about this? Have you heard about that? I open it up. The first thing I read is it's patented. Well, sorry, it's not natural anymore. You know, they patented their process. Secondly, I then read nano-coated particles. So tiny little particles that are coated. I'm not interested. Why would I be when we have what we have? So everyone's trying to make money, and they're trying to be cleverer than nature. Okay, and trick the body. Absolute pleasure, Dipti. And then let's make it a date. Next Thursday, Dipti and I are going to do a Turning Point event. So put that in your diaries, please. And tell your friends to come, because it's just always an honor and beautiful to have Dipti with us and all her gorgeous sharing. And Dipti, I think we'll look at the next 6 months. Hey, it'll be a good thing to do as well. You know, to keep in the present moment, in peace and joy and harmony. And Dipti actually sends me every day an information. What can I say? It's a daily information thing. If anybody would like Dipti's daily information, just text me and she'll add you to her wise words that she sends out every day. So if anybody, I know some of you already joined her, you're welcome to do that too. So that's going to be an honor. Right. If there's also other questions, put it on the group, and then everybody can, you know, everyone can share in the information. And I'm doing my best. Remember, if I post something, you witness it. It doesn't go through you or in you or anything. It's there, non-judgmental awareness, and we say, right, where am I moving from here? Because I'm here now, where am I moving? Because you're in a pivotal position always, right? What does this mean to me? What do we need to do? But our mission never changes. All right, we are preserving our golden DNA, our consciousness. That is our mission. Because we can, and we all are more powerful than anything else on the planet. Okay, thanks all of you special people. And okay, Judith. Okay, so well, what can I do? I will just text your numbers to Dipti if that's okay. Or I know what I'll do. I'll put on our group. I don't know how Dipti would prefer it, actually. She'll tell me just now how to do it, and otherwise I will give you her numbers to add to her group. That'll be good. All right. All the very best.